Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Ashtanga Level 1, an introduction to Ashtanga. So, for those of you who are used to the Ashtanga practice and are used to the very fast-paced and vigorous Ashtanga practice, we're going to start from square one. We're going to get into the foundations of the Ashtanga, so we're going to slow things down significantly. Now, slowing down significantly does not necessarily mean that our practice becomes any easier. As you're going to quickly find out, holding poses for longer periods of time actually does pose some challenges, but it also gives us a window of time to find the appropriate engagements and alignment within our body for us to be able to do a faster practice, going a little bit deeper into a level 2 in the future. So this practice and its pace allows us to really deep dive into our poses to ensure alignment, engagement, our breath. So we're going to introduce Ujjayi breath and our two locks that we're going to be using for the Ashtanga practice, the Mula Bandha and the Uddiyana Bandha. So for those of you who have never heard these words before, so the Mula Bandha and the Uddiyana Bandha are the two base locks within the body that actually create a sense of lightness and integrity throughout our practice. So whenever you see these fancy jump backs and jump forwards in and out of downward facing dog or plank, anything to do with these practices, balancing poses, any and all balancing poses, all use these locks within the body to create a sense of lightness and integrity through our poses. So let's go straight to the first one that everyone knows, which is the Uddiyana Bandha. So every time you hear your teacher saying, pull your navel towards your spine or scoop the belly in, you're being asked to engage the Uddiyana Bandha. So the Uddiyana Bandha are the group of muscles that are located right behind the navel. We engage this bandha, we lock it into place by pulling it towards the spine. So I'm going to flip over to my side so you can see exactly what happens. So, soft belly. When you start to engage Uddiyana Bandha, you pull the navel back into the spine. So all of a sudden you get the scooping action here, and then you start to pull and lift your navel up in through the ribs, scooping that belly all the way in. So as you notice, regular belly, engaged Uddiyana Bandha, there's actually a pretty significant difference here. So that's our Uddiyana Bandha. And then we're going to get into our Uddiyana Bandha. So the Uddiyana Bandha are the group of muscles that are located throughout the pelvic floor. So this group of muscles has a couple of different ways of these group of muscles are used in many different practices that we use, sometimes in daily practice. So for example, when your bladder is full, guess what? You're engaging Mula Bandha. When you're stopping midstream, you're engaging Mula Bandha. This is also called the PC pump. This is also the same group of muscles that you use when you are engaging into a Kegel. So now that we know what group of muscles that we're working with and how to engage them, let's take a moment to close our eyes and plant your hands comfortably over the thighs or on top of the knees. As you close your eyes, begin to lengthen the spine, lifting through the crown of the head. Shift your shoulders back ever so slightly to align them with the heart, naturally opening up the chest, pulling the navel back into the spine. Let's slowly engage Uddiyana Bandha. So we're looking about maybe about 50% engagement of what you would usually do. So the navel is halfway towards the spine right now. And now all of your awareness is resting to the base of the pelvic floor. So all of the muscles that are draping towards the earth, resting heavily. On the next inhalation, can you start to engage Mula Bandha by lifting the pelvic floor, engaging up in through the navel. And then you're going to further engage the navel back together with the Mula Bandha and then lift it up in through the ribs. So now you're going to get this nice scooping action in through the belly. On your exhalation, begin to release the tension. Now, it's not going to be the same amount of engagement that you would use when you're either trying to hold back your full bladder or stopping midstream. It's going to be about 50% engagement. So it's more of a gentle lift, a gentle engagement. So let's do that 2 more times, and then we're going to get right into the practice. Inhale, lift the mula bandha, lift the pelvic floor away from the earth, up in through the navel. Then begin to take the navel back into the spine, lifting the navel up in through the ribs, almost as if you can touch the base of the lungs. Exhale to release. And let's do that 1 more time. Inhale, lift and engage the mula bandha, Uddiyana bandha, scooping the belly back and up. And then exhaling to release. Excellent. So, a couple of very important notes before we begin our practice is we are going to maintain Ujjayi breath throughout the whole practice. That's how we're going to start the practice, by the way. And then once we get into Ujjayi breath, we're going to stay with Ujjayi breath and then go straight to our sun salutations. So I'd like to leave you with a couple of thoughts before we actually start moving. First thought is, your body is your first and most important teacher. If your body is telling you outright that it is that any pose is bringing discomfort and disharmony throughout your body, please step out of the pose. And if you have any curiosity in terms of modifications, you may choose to leave a comment in underneath the video, and then I can either privately message you back to the modifications, or we can do a one-to-one Skype session or video session, which way you'd like to. However, it is important that we actually honor our bodies first and foremost, okay? Secondly, it would be to really try your utmost to maintain Ujjayi breath and maintain these locks throughout the body, throughout the entire length of your practice. Lastly, keeping in mind that this will be a significantly slower Ashtanga practice in order to condition our bodies. All right, let us begin. Taking your flat palm a few inches away from the face, opening up your lips, and then begin to fog the plane of glass in front of you. Notice the engagement of the throat. Can you stay with the engagement of the throat as you inhale as well, keeping your lips open? Notice the sound of the breath. Notice the sensations of the engagement of the throat. Ujjayi breath, ocean breath. Let's take a couple more breaths like this. Maintain the engagement of the throat and the breath as you begin to seal your lips. Now inhaling and exhaling through the nostrils only, maintaining Ujjayi breath the entire time. Begin to take your hand back towards your knee or your thigh, staying with the breath for a few moments. Lifting the pelvic floor, engaging Mula Bandha, pulling the navel back towards the spine and up in through the ribs. Uddiyana Bandha, Ujjayi breath. Slowly begin to lift your eyelids so that you can start to see the earth just in front of you. We're going to come up gently into a standing position. So with this position here, samastitihi is equal standing pose. So I'm just going to shift the camera here a little bit so you can see the full length. Okay, so equal standing pose does not necessarily mean that the body is disengaged while you're standing. Samastitihi, there are many, if not most of the muscles throughout your body is fully engaged. So as you stand at the front of your mat, first of all, let's get our feet set. So with samastitihi, depending on your body type, sometimes some of us might find this position more comfortable, taking your toes together and then allowing your heels to slightly separate. Okay? For those of us who have wider hips, just like myself, you might want to step your feet hip-width distance apart. So first, start by finding the best suitable standing position for you today. And then from here, you're going to start to find the engagement through the feet and the entire length of the legs. Begin by lifting all 10 toes off the earth. And then once all 10 toes are lifted, press down through the big toe mound, press down through the baby toe mound, press down through the heels of the feet. As you press down through all these three corners of your feet, notice how the legs become engaged. Can you keep the engagement of the legs as you start to descend the toes back to the earth? From here, we're going to start to find alignment throughout the spine. You're going to shift your pelvis back and forth. As you shift your pelvic from back and forth, you are going to notice where center is. Allow your hips to shift to center. And then from here, you're going to flip the palms of the hands forward, reach through the crown of the head, slide the shoulders back slightly, aligning it with the heart. And then from here, engage Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha. Stay with your Ujjayi breath. And then we're going to inhale to trace the sun on the way up to Hastasana. Inhale, trace the sun. Palms touch in Anjali Mudra. As the palms touch, your exhalation is going to begin as you forward fold. Hinge from the hips, lead with the heart, coming into your forward fold, which is called Uttanasana. On your inhalation, then you're going to, you have a couple of different options here. You can either come up onto your pinkies to lengthen the spine, or you can take your hands over your shins in order to lengthen the spine this way. So lengthening the spine, what exactly does that mean? You allow your spine to become nice and straight, and then you reach through the crown of the head, descending, taking your shoulders away from the ears, lengthening the neck. And the tailbone is here. And then you're going to prepare yourself to jump back into your plank. If you can't jump today, that's totally fine. You can walk yourself back into your plank pose. You're going to, if you have the engagement of Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha, you're going to re-engage those two. And then as you exhale, you're going to hop or step back into plank. Perfect. All right, so visiting plank. Start by pressing back through the heels of the feet to straighten the body. From here, you're going to open up your fingers nice and wide. Then you're going to pivot the inside of your elbows, the eyes of the elbows, forward. You're going to lift the space between the shoulders up. Pull the navel back into the spine, engaging Mula Bandha and Uddiyana Bandha. And then from here, you're going to slide the shoulders over the wrists through the toes by rolling over on top of the toes. You're going to hug your arms into the trunk of the body and then start to lower down on empty lungs at the base of your exhalation. Untuck the toes. Inhale, upward facing dog. Gentle pressure through the hands as your heart lifts. Be careful not to lock your elbows as you reach through the crown of the head. From here, you're going to shift the sit bones all the way back on your exhalation. stepping into your downward facing dog. Let's take 5 full breaths here, lengthening your inhalation and your exhalation. So while we're here in downward facing dog, so the point of your downward facing dog is not to look like any person from a magazine or any photos that you've seen online. Downward facing dog actually looks differently as it varies from body to body. So if your heels are lifting, or if there's any discomfort within this pose, please feel free to make your adjustments accordingly. Adjustments can include stepping your feet as wide as your mat. You can step your hands as wide as your mat. You can also bring them in closer together. See how that feels. Play with the distance between the hands and the feet. You can walk your feet a little bit closer towards your hands, or you can walk your feet a little bit further away. It's important that we find the most suitable stance for ourselves, for our bodies, in every single pose that we have. Let's take one more breath here before continuing on to our second sun salutation. Bending the knees on your inhale, lift the navel to the spine, Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha. On your exhalation, either hop or step forward. On your inhalation, lifting the spine, lengthening, flat back, reaching through the crown of the head, the soft spot right at the center, descending the shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, rise, Hastasana. Trace the sun on the way up, palms touch. Exhale, hands through heart's center, Samastitihi. All right, so we're going to step it up a slight notch here now that we know what we're doing. Sun salutation round 2. Inhale, Hastasana. Palms touch. Exhale through heart's center, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, flat back, lift and lengthen the spine through the soft spot right at the center of the head. Exhale, hop or step back, plank. At the base of your exhalation, Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha, engage. Draw your arms inward through the trunk of the body and then lower down on empty lungs. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Five full, delicious breaths, lengthening your inhalation and your exhalation. So while we're here, taking the last 2 breaths, I will also highly suggest that you encourage yourself to take child's pose whenever it is necessary. Most of the times our shoulders are so not used to hanging out in downward facing dog for long periods of time. So please be gentle and kind and compassionate to yourself. All right, let's bend the knees, navel to spine, Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha. Exhale, hop or step towards the front of the mat. Inhale, flat back. Lengthen. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, rise, Hastasana. Exhale, hands through heart's center, Samastitihi. Last round of sun salutations A. Inhale, Hastasana. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, flat back, lengthen. Exhale, plank. lower down on empty lungs. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Five breaths or child's pose. So if this is your first yoga class ever, child's pose, you bend your knees, untuck the toes, stick the sit bones back. If you want to give your shoulders a little bit of a rest, you can slide your arms alongside the body and rest your head back down to the ground. So usually, I will always give a forewarning on the last breath that we're taking in downward facing dog so that you can meet us in downward facing dog as well. All right, let's take our last breath here in downward facing dog. Inhale to bend the knees, navel to spine, gaze to the front. Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha. Exhale, hop or step towards the front. Inhale, flat back. Lengthen. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, rise, tracing the sun on the way up, Hastasana. Exhale, hands through heart's center, Samastitihi. Excellent. So we've just completed 3 rounds of sun salutations A. Now we're going to go in through 3 rounds of sun salutations B. So first, let's visit our chair pose. So with chair pose, there is a couple of things that we want to make sure. To protect the knees, we want to make sure that the majority of the weight is back at the heels high. If this is too much load bearing on your knees or on the lumbar spine, shorten the lever. You can either take your hands towards your shoulders, or you can take your hands in prayer position, Anjali Mudra. So this is going to alleviate some of that weight and that tension through the knees and the lumbar spine, if this is the case for you today. So let's visit chair pose. So from here, let's take the feet hip width distance apart. And we're going to do chair pose in 2 different scenarios with the feet hip width distance apart and the feet together. So from here, we're going to go with the feet hip width distance apart so you can really have a good solid foundation of how to draw the inner thighs together without collapsing the knees in. So go ahead and start to slide your pelvis back. Descend your sit bones all the way back into space as if you're taking a seat into a chair. So first thing that you're going to do is you're going to look down at your feet, make sure that you can see your feet. If your knees are shifting past your toes, you've gone too far. Shift the knees back, take a deeper seat so you can still see your feet. So here we're going to see a space right in between the thighs. Can you make a fist and guide your hand right in between your thighs here and begin to draw the inner thighs together as if you're squeezing your fist without actually squeezing it. And then your knees won't collapse in and you still maintain this beautiful straight line here while still engaging the thighs vigorously. So we've got the thighs engagement set. Now let's step it up several notches. Let's take those arms up alongside the ears. You're going to start to press through the base of the feet and then push the feet out. So you're pressing towards the outer edges of the feet. This is going to start to engage the outer thighs and the glutes and the lumbar spine. 3, 2, and 1. Inhale to rise, and then exhale to forward fold. Let's wrap our arms alongside the back side of the legs to relieve our spines and our legs for about 2 deep breaths before coming into sun salutations B, where will we be going in another chair. All right, take 1 more breath. Inhale, Hastasana. Exhale, Samastitihi, hands through heart to center. Sun salutations B, start with Utkatasana, chair pose. Inhale to chair pose. Arms come alongside the ears. Take your sit bones all the way back into space. So if your legs are together, you're still going to draw the inner thighs inward without collapsing the knees in. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Hinge at the hips. Inhale, flat back, lengthen. And then exhale, hop or step back, plank. Lower down on empty lungs. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. At the base of your exhalation, we're going to inhale, step the right foot forward. We're going to pivot the back foot so it's heel to heel alignment, and your back foot is out at about a 45-degree angle here, coming into Warrior One, Virabhadrasana 1. Square your hips towards the front of your mat, navel to spine, Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha, engage. Inhale, fingertips up to the sky, palms touch. So your knee that's bent here, your right knee, you're going to make sure that it's tracking right over your ankle. It's not dipping in or out. Perfect. Palms touch. Then you're going to take your gaze towards the base of the palms here. Make sure not to crank your neck back. Keep it nice and long. At the base of your inhalation, we're going to exhale. Hands come back down to the ground. Pivot the back foot. Step the right foot back, plank. And then lower down from plank on empty lungs. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. At the base of your exhalation, inhale, left foot steps forward. Then you're going to pivot the back foot, heel to heel alignment, bending the left knee. Inhale, fingertips to the sky, palms touch. Exhale, hands come back down to the ground. Pivot the back foot, step the left foot back, plank. Lowering down with control, nice and slowly, hugging the navel and the arms in. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Excellent. All right. Now we're going to stay here for a few breaths. Ujjayi breath. Stay with the engagement of the throat. And try to stay with the engagements of your Mula Bandha and Uddiyana Bandha. Release the weight of the head. Last breath. Excellent. Let's bend the knees. Inhale, navel to spine. Gaze to the front of the mat. Exhale to hop or step towards the front. Inhale, flat back. Exhale to forward fold. Descend your sit bones way back into space, bending your knees. Inhale, chair pose, Utkatasana. Exhale, hands through heart center, Samastitihi. Sun salutations, round 2. Inhale, Utkatasana, chair pose. Descend your sit bones back into space. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, flat back, lift and lengthen. Exhale, plank. Lower down on empty lungs. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Foot, heel to heel alignment, navel to spine, fingertips to the sky. At the base of your inhalation, exhale, hands come back down to the ground. Pivot the back foot, step the right foot back, plank, and lower. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left foot steps forward, pivot the back. Heel to heel alignment, fingertips to the sky, Virabhadrasana, warrior one. Exhale, hands come back down to the earth, pivot the back foot, step the left foot back, plank to lower. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. 5 full, delicious breaths, or child's pose. Either way, take your big breaths. Feel the expansiveness of every single inhalation. Nourish your body with your breath. We're almost into the standing poses. We have one more sun salutation beat to go, and then we continue on forward. Onwards and upwards. All right, let's take one more breath here. Beautiful. Bending the knees. Inhale, engage. Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha. Exhale, hop or step towards the front of your mat. Inhale, flat back. Exhale to forward fold, Uttanasana. Descend the sit bones way back into space, bending the knees. Inhale, chair pose, Utkatasana. Hands through heart center, Samastitihi. Inhale, chair pose, Utkatasana. Exhale, hinge from the hips, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, flat back, lengthen the spine. Exhale, plank. Lower down, empty lungs. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right foot forward, pivot the back, heel to heel alignment, warrior one. Exhale, plank. Lower down from plank. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left foot forward, pivot the back. Warrior one, fingertips to the sky. Exhale, hands come back down. Step back, plank. Lower down, empty lungs at the base of your exhalation. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. 5 delicious breaths. Last breath. Excellent. Bend the knees, navel to spine, gaze to the front. Exhale, hop or step towards the front of your mat. Inhale to flat back. Exhale to forward fold. Descend the sit bones way back into space, bend the knees. Inhale, Utkatasana chair pose. Exhale, hands through heart center, Samastitihi. Excellent. All right. There you go, guys. There we have it. Sun salutations A and B, 3 and 3. All right. So coming towards the top of your mat, I'm going to step back so you can see exactly what we're going to do. We're going to take our feet together. Inhale, lengthen. As you exhale, you're going to hop your feet hip width distance apart. And now we're going to take Kubera Mudra. Kubera Mudra, your index fingers are going to touch the tips of your thumb. as well as the middle finger. The ring fingers, I hope you can see this. There we go. The ring finger and the pinky tuck inward. Beautiful. So your two little holes here, right there. Perfect. Inhale, lift and lengthen, reach up to the sky. On your exhalation, you're going to pivot from your hips, lead with your heart into your forward fold. As you come into your forward fold, you're going to take that big circle, your Kubera Mudra, and then you're going to slide it right over the big toe. From here, you're going to inhale, flat back, lift and lengthen. On your exhalation, now this is really important, you may bend your knees as much as you like in order to lengthen the spine. This is less about the hamstrings and more about the lengthening of the spine. On your exhalation, please feel free to bend your knees as much as possible in order for you to come deeper into your forward fold, guiding your elbows out to either sides. I'd like you to imagine as though you're in the middle of a trash compactor and the walls are closing in on both sides. You're going to open up that space, press the elbows outward, making space for yourself. Continue to press the elbows outward to either sides, opening up the back of the shoulders. Release the weight of the head and allow the back to lengthen. Last 2 breaths here. Inhale, flat back. On your next exhalation, you're going to slide the hands underneath the feet. If you cannot do this, if your hands do not reach as far, you can take your hands behind your calves and do the same action of opening up your elbows nice and wide to open up the space between the shoulders. For everyone else, let's keep those hands underneath the feet, taking the tips of the toes as close towards the inner wrist as possible. Inhale, flat back, lengthen the spine, reaching through the crown of the head. On your exhalation, take your forward fold, taking your elbows out to either sides, releasing the full weight of the head, allowing the spine to lengthen. Last breath. Inhale, flat back. Release the hands away from the feet. Exhale to forward fold. Inhale, rise, Hastasana. Trace the sun on the way up. Exhale, hands through heart to center. Samastitihi. Excellent. All right. So from here, inhale, lengthen through the spine. On your exhalation, you're going to step your left foot back, and then you're going to take the edge of the left foot so that it's parallel to the short edge of your mat. The right toes is still face forward. You're going to open up your arms into T position. You're going to square your hips towards the long edge of your mat. And then from here, Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha engage. Exhale, slide your right fingertips as far past the toes as possible. Then you're going to pivot from the hips and come into your triangle posture called Trikonasana. You're going to reach through the crown of the head, lengthen the spine. Make sure that you're not collapsing the right side of your body. Try to keep it as long as possible. And then you're going to reach all the way up towards the sky through the left fingertips. Take your drishti, which is your gaze, towards the left thumb. If that's available for you today. If that brings you any level of discomfort, please feel free to take your gaze back down towards the earth. The right hand is on the inner part of the right foot, and the feet are pressing away from each other. Be careful not to hyperextend either of your legs and keep a soft micro bend at the knees. Take 2 more breaths. Mula Bandha engage. Uddiyana Bandha, stay with your Ujjayi breath. Inhale, come all the way up. On your exhalation, you're going to pivot the right foot in so that it's parallel to the short edge of the mat, and then pivot the left foot out so that the toes are pointing towards the short edge. Lengthen the spine on your inhalation. Exhale to slide the fingertips past the toes. Pivot from the hips. Reach through the crown of the head, coming into Trikonasana, triangle pose. Drishti is up towards the right thumb or down to the ground. Keep your feet evenly pressing away from each other, feeling this lift throughout the center of the body. Last breath. Inhale to rise. Exhale to step back towards the front of your mat. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, step the left foot all the way back. Just like you did before, so that the short edge of your foot is in line with the short edge of your mat. Open your arms wide into T position. And we're going to do exactly the same thing that we did before, but we're going to go revolved. So here we're going to start by sliding the right fingertips past the toes. And then from here, once you can't go any further, you're going to start to windmill your arms down so that the left arm is coming towards the inner or outer edge of your right foot. From here, your right hip is going to want to pivot outward. You're going to square your hips towards the back of your mat. And then you're going to reach that right arm all the way up. Take your drishti towards the right thumb. Last 2 breaths. Mula Bandha engage. Uddiyana Bandha. Inhale, windmill the arms up, pressing through the feet. Exhale, pivot towards the opposite side. So your right foot is in line with the short edge of the mat. Toes are pointing forward. Exhale, slide past the left toes. And then as you pivot from the hips, you're going to windmill the right arm down. And then you're going to square the hips towards the back edge of your mat. And then you're going to reach all the way up towards the sky through the left hand. Take your drishti up towards the left thumb and lengthen your breath. Last 2 breaths. Beautiful. Navel to spine, lifting Mula Bandha. Inhale, windmill the arms up, pressing through the feet. Exhale, step back towards the front of your mat. Inhale to lift and lengthen. Exhale, step the left foot all the way back once again. Open up your arms into a T position. And then you're going to start to bend at the right knee. Your right knee, you're going to make sure that it's tracking over your ankle. And then from here, you have a couple of different options. First option, you can bend your right elbow and take your right forearm on towards your right thigh. And then you can swing your left arm across the earth right over the ear. Keep your palms nice and open and wide. Your fingers are fully engaged. Your hands are engaged, pressing your feet into the mat and away from each other. And then you're going to shift your gaze towards the inner left arm. If you'd like to come deeper into the pose, you can descend the right arm back down to the ground, to the outer edge of the right foot. You're going to press back through the edge of the left foot, and you're going to reach all the way towards the front through the left fingertips. Last 2 breaths. Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha. Inhale, rise. Exhale, pivot. Bend the left knee. And then take the same position as you did on the other side. Last breath. Mula Bandha, engage. Uddiyana Bandha, inhale, rise. Exhale, pivot and step back towards the front of your mat. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, step the left foot back once again. On your exhalation, you're going to bend at your right knee. We're going to do exactly the same thing that we did before, but revolved this time. So from here, keeping your bandhas fully engaged, keep staying with your Ujjayi breath. You're going to windmill the arms down so the left hand comes down onto the ground on the inner crest of the right foot. If you are an advanced or intermediate practitioner, you may choose to step your left hand on the outer edge of the right foot. Okay? Again, we're going to square the hips towards the back edge of the mat. And then we're going to open up our hearts, spiral that right arm up, and then you're going to reach towards the front as you press back through the left foot. Last 2 breaths. Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha. Inhale, rise. Exhale, pivot. Descend. And then windmill the arms down. Square your hips towards the back edge of your mat. Three, 2, and 1. Inhale, windmill the arms back up. Exhale, pivot and step back towards the front of your mat. All right, we're getting close to the end of our time. Next week, we're going to fly through sun salutations A and B significantly faster so we can get more into the standing poses next week. So from here, we're just going to do one round of sun salutation to take us back down to the ground. And then we're going to visit bridge pose. And then we're going to close ourselves off and going back into Shavasana. Sun salutation A. Inhale, trace the sun. Palms touch. Exhale, hands through heart center. Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Lengthen the spine. Exhale, plank. Lowering down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let's take a couple of breaths here before shifting to our seat. Excellent. Let's bend the knees, navel to spine, engaging Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha. You're going to take a look at the front of your mat, the space between your hands. And we're going to start to cross the feet in order to take our sit bones down. So from here, what we're going to do is we're going to step the right foot towards the left, and then step the left foot towards the right. The heels and the shins cross. You're going to bend your knees, take the sit bones down towards your mat, and then as you uncross your legs, you're going to shoot your legs out in front. One of these days, we're going to float in and out of that through downward facing dog straight into this position one day in the future. All right. So notice how my feet are fully flexed. So this is important. You're going to want to make sure that your feet are flexed the entire time. So before going into our bridge, we're going to visit deep forward fold, and I'm going to show you a very awesome and very quick way to actually lengthen the spine and get deeper into your forward folds. This cue that we're going to visit after a few breaths to readjust ourselves, you can use these cues in every single forward fold that you would take in any other class. Okay? Let's start by pressing through the heels of the feet, tucking the toes in towards you. Mula Bandha engages, Uddiyana Bandha engages. Inhale, arms up. On your exhale, pivot from the hips, lead with the heart into your forward fold. Release the weight of the head. Release the weight of the entire torso. Take a few breaths here. One more breath. Staying into your forward fold, so staying exactly where you are, all you're going to do is you're going to shift your gaze towards your toes, your drishti. And then on your inhalation, you're going to pull your heart forward, lengthening your spine even more, scoop the belly in, and then come into a deeper forward fold. Beautiful. Start to release yourself back to a neutral position. Now we're going to bend our knees, plant the feet, and then roll the spine all the way back down onto your mat. Getting ready for bridge position, taking your heels to a relatively close distance towards your sit bones. Taking your arms alongside the body, opening up your fingers nice and wide. Inhale to press through the feet, lift the hips up nice and high into bridge position. Begin to charge up those glutes, lifting the hips up, 2 and 1. Exhale to roll the spine all the way back down towards the mat, and then begin to shift the knees into the chest. So notice how high your hips came up on that bridge position. We're going to do bridge position 2 more times, but you're going to start to play with the distance between your sit bones and your heels. So in every single class, and most teachers will tell you, take your heels straight to your sit bones. This works through only a small portion of the community, depending on body size, how long your legs are, how long your torso is. So like I said at the beginning of the class, it's important that we take a moment to play in our poses and actually find the most appropriate position for our bodies. So take the feet back down to the mat. Take your arms alongside the body. And then change the distance between your heels and your sit bones. Maybe walking them further away like I just did, or walking them even closer to your sit bones. This is all relative to the length of your legs and the length of your torso. So you're going to shift your feet so that you find optimal height within your body in bridge position. Pressing your feet, inhale, lift. Press, press, press through the feet. Draw the inner thighs in together. Fire up those glutes. Lift your heart up even higher. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. Exhale. Roll the spine all the way back down to the ground. Hug the knees into the chest, and we'll do that one more time. Descend the feet. Switch up the distance between your heels and your sit bones. Inhale, lift, bridge. Four, 3, 2, and 1. As you exhale, melt the entire length of the spine back down to the ground. Hug the knees into the chest. Give yourself a little bit of a roll from side to side. Massage the spine. Beautiful. And slowly begin to lengthen the legs back down to the earth. Allow the arms to come back down. Finding a comfortable resting position for the end of your practice. And as you lay your limbs back down to the earth, taking a few deeper breaths, exhaling, sighing on each exhalation, allowing your mouth to open and releasing the breath from an open mouth. Each exhalation, releasing all of the tension from your body. Each exhalation, allowing the entire body and every fiber within to melt into the earth, being completely enveloped and supported, relaxing, releasing, and letting go. Noticing all of this beautiful sensations throughout your entire body. Noticing your breath. And then noticing the touch of the heartbeat throughout the entire trunk of the body. Through the shoulders, down the spine, connecting to the earth, through the front of the body, the chest, the abdomen, noticing the heartbeat down the entire length of the legs, all the way into the tips of the toes. From the tips of the toes, up the length of the legs, back through the torso, following the heart's beat down the length of the arms, down to the fingertips. From the fingertips, up the length of the arms, through the neck, the face, and the scalp. Taking one last breath here in Shavasana before shifting out of your pose. Inhaling through the nostrils, exhaling through an open mouth. Guiding your knees in through the chest, and then gently rolling over towards the right side of your body. Placing the left hand on the earth in front of the chest. Taking a moment here, giving yourself gratitude for this excellent act of self-care, moving your body, breathing, creating harmony within, strengthening, opening, releasing, honoring yourself, honoring your body. Upon the next inhalation, pressing through the left palm to guide yourself back into an upright seated position in either lotus pose or hero's pose. To finish today's class with a sound of Om on your exhalation. Guiding the hands towards heart's center in Anjali Mudra. Placing the length of the thumbs over the sternum, connecting to the heart's beat. Let us take our inhalation to Om now. Keeping your eyes closed, begin to rub your hands vigorously together, creating heat through friction. Once your hands get toasty and warm, cupping your hands over your eyes, inhaling the warmth of the touch. And then as you exhale, gently releasing the hands away from the face, a gentle transition from darkness to light. All right. Happy Tuesday, everyone. I hope you guys all had a fantastic practice. Join me every week, Tuesdays at 10:30. We're going to be leveling up every single week. So next week, like I mentioned, we're going to move a little bit faster through those sun salutations A and B so that we can visit some more standing postures. And then we'll just continue to progress week by week as they go on. Have the most fantastic day. May every single cell of your entire being be filled with love, light, abundance, bliss, freedom, and optimal health. Namaste. Many blessings to you all.